Hello, everyone. It's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains episode review. This time, we will be going over episode 102, the season 2 finale of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. We reacted to this episode. There's a good chance, if you did not see it already, it's probably taken down. But go to the channel, see if it's still up. Click the link down below. If it was taken down, what are you going to do? That's life. I am joined by two good friends of mine who are also watching the show, Pete and Nick T. Thank you both for joining me.
Sorry.
Thank you both for joining me. I appreciate it. So I couldn't do season 2 alone. Couldn't do the finale alone. Had to bring on two people to help me out. I'll give my thoughts real quick, and I'm really excited to hear from you guys. We're going to go over the implications that this might have for season 3. We've already had some quick debates as I switched the reaction to the review to get the setup about the IGNIS. I think they'll come back. Both of you guys think they're going to stay dead for good. So we're going to talk about that. There's going to be a lot to talk about in this review. And of course, I am excited to hear from all of you. My thoughts on the episode, general impressions. I really liked it. One of my favorite lines from this episode had to be the dialogue between I and Flame. Absolutely loved when Flame, because it was almost a reference to one of the last things he said to Soulburner. Let's go to our future together. Let's tackle our future. And Flame says, we live as Ignis for eternity, but the people that we love and the people we care about, they don't. And it makes you remember that Flame and Soulburner, which I thought was one of the best dynamics of season 2, and really all of these dynamics, Aqua and Blue Maiden, I and Playmaker, the Ignis have this blessing and this curse of being able to live forever. So at some point, a character like Soulburner, a character like Playmaker, they're going to pass away. They're going to move on into the afterlife. And it's almost like the Ignis don't really know what that's like. So they have a chance to also make this amazing sacrifice and experience. I mean, it kind of sounds a little morbid to say experience death, but that's almost what Flame was kind of implying, and experiencing sacrificing themselves for the greater good of humanity and of the world. And if there was a way to save these people that they considered partners, that they considered best friends. And that's exactly what we see happen. The Link 5 of Firewall Dark Fluid Dragon or Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. It was one of those.
Dark Fluid was at the end.
Yeah, Dark Fluid was at the end. That was freaking awesome. And that was obviously the monster spawned from the sacrifices that these 5 Ignis made. And I love that Lightning was even a part of that sacrifice because he didn't have enough power to withstand.
He was his power was manipulated out of him by Aqua and Flame.
Amazing. Earth and Windy unconscious. It makes sense. You noted in the reaction that Earth was dissected completely by Soul Tech. Why he's still there in program form, I have no idea.
I still don't know how that happened.
I don't get the logistics of that at all. That's one of the biggest unanswered questions, I think, from this whole episode, maybe even this whole season. We've debated so often. How did Bowman get Earth?
Yeah, we still don't know.
Was it Crystal Heart? But now Earth is in Bowman. That was kind of weird. It's almost like weird. They left out 3 episodes that were supposed to be in this arc, and they just never showed them.
Could have done one scene,
deleted episodes.
Yeah, it's the opposite of normally when with the dub and the sub, they just reversed it. So in the dub, we'll get those 3 episodes.
In the dub, we'll get 3. That would be really funny. If
I don't think they would even need 3 episodes. They would need a scene to
just
explain
a scene.
it.
Yeah,
there was one line. One line could have been I broke into Soul Tech and got the
data
done.
Well, or even just say Spectre had a part of Earth in him, or literally what the Crystal Heart had a part of Earth in it, whatever.
Yeah, because when
suddenly he just has the tattoo on him, and that's
it. Yeah. Like when Lightning said the weak have their uses with Spectre, right? That kind of gets nullified because he really uses Jin as that hostage, and yes, Spectre's there, but he's never there in actual form. You could have used him as the weak have their uses as the substitute for Earth, and then still use Jin in the hostage situation.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, that made no sense to me. But in that aspect, it made sense why Earth was unconscious, why Windy was unconscious. He was reprogrammed right before all of this.
And he had the purple eyes.
With the purple eyes, I noted that right away. So, again, it kind of sucks. I kind of don't love the route they went with Windy's character. But we'll see. I would have rather him kind of stayed evil. Yeah. But what are you going to do? Lightning. Blame Lightning. It's all Lightning's fault.
Blame Lightning.
That's the way the show went. Going back to Playmaker and Bowman, the duel itself was good. It was very Yusei and Zone-esque. I'm not sure if anyone else got that vibe. The final duel of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D is I'm sure you two got that vibe. Very, very similar to Yusei with his Stardust, just chipping away at Zone's ultimate time god until eventually Stardust was able to land the finishing blow. I mean, the sequence was almost identical, except instead of attack points, it was through counters, even though I think
they correlated.
Yeah, I think in 5Ds it was monsters that they were using as shields instead of the counters themselves, but it was still very, very similar. And I kind of loved how they did that at the end, where Flame had his own attack, Aqua had his own attack, Earth had his own attack, Windy had its own attack, and then all of them come together with this beautiful rainbow blast that just eliminates Bowman's Dragvrid from the field. What's up?
I just thought of something because we keep making all these allusions to Endgame, and I thought when they used the glove with all 6 stones, it rainbow colors together. They did the exact same thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of parallels.
It's like literally the exact same
thing.
That's
incredible. I do want to make a video when this show's over talking about the parallels. I think that would be a fun video.
It'd be a fun video.
Someone is purposely doing that.
I think so.
It's not by accident.
It's not. This is probably safe to say, at least in a few months, it'll be the biggest movie ever. In terms of revenue,
easily.
So it's not it's not unthinkable to think that there were some inspirations from that movie in this arc. I don't think it's unthinkable at all. No. Really, really amazing. But regardless, Playmaker wins. Bowman has a nice ending with Haru. I thought that was very nice. A very nice way to end up to wrap up their character arc. 2 characters that are permadeaths. I'm 100%, well, I should say 99%, never 100% on anything, 99% sure we will never see Bowman, 99% sure we will never see Haru again, except maybe in flashbacks.
Justice for Haru.
Even though,
it came through.
It came through, yeah, I thought it was thought it was a very nice scene, and yeah, it was a sad episode. It was a lot sadder than I thought it would be.
Absolutely.
Another great line was when Playmaker goes, the cost was way too high after winning. It's not like he celebrated and said, we did it. This is amazing. No, the cost was too high. Like, yeah, we won. That's obvious. But what did we lose to win? Like, it was a somber episode, and really excited to see where they go with it in season 2. But season as a whole, loved it. One of the better Yu-Gi-Oh seasons in quite a while, even going back to the Arc 5 era, I would say. I liked it a lot more than season 1. The final duel of season 2, I would say, was probably one of the weaker duels of this like mini arc, of the Mirror Link VRains arc. I liked Soulburner versus Windy more. I liked Blue Maiden versus Bowman more. I liked Bowman versus Soulburner more. There were duels that I liked a lot more than this one. Still thought it was an okay duel to end things on. And the season as a whole, very, very enjoyable. What did you guys think of this episode? What do you think of the season?
You want me to go first?
You go first, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we talked about this before the camera went on, that definitely as a season as a whole, this is way better season. It's better structured, there's better flow, there's better villain development, I would say, better duels. But the ending of season 1, just there's something about Yusaku and Revolver going head to head there with the Tower of the Hanoi going on and all the risk that plays into that, and everyone that died there too at the moment. That was a way better ending duel. I think this duel was more used as exposition, and we got a lot of great exposition and a lot of great character moments. Definitely by far in those 4 episodes, the best development of Yusaku throughout the entire show.
Absolutely.
By far.
100%.
So that, I think, if they play in that and don't forget about what happened there, that could be huge for the next 50 plus episodes, whatever it ends up being. But as a duel itself, not really that interesting. I mean, we get Yusaku down to his classic 100 life points.
The Link 5s were cool.
Like it was
cool.
It was cool, but like, for me, and especially in this last episode here, like for the most part, Bowman is dominated, but he did lose 1,500, points, and that was cool the way that happened, where they interrupted the one neuron link, and he was able to get the attack through.
Lightning made the mistake.
He messed up with the judgment dice.
Yeah,
like I would rather see a back and forth there, where I feel like Bowman had literally no moments in this entire episode, and you could say like, oh, him almost stopping I there when they were inside of him. Like, I don't know. Like, that scene wasn't as impactful for me. And I wanted to see more back and forth where even if Yusaku is pulling out trap card after trap card, like something. Like, it was literally the inevitable of him just taking it, counters going down, he's getting angry as he has to say it because he's forced into, like I says, an endless loop that he can't get out of.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more from that, but yeah, overall, it was great. For me, my favorite moment of the episode there when they're all kind of, I guess they come out and eyes together, is Bowman realizing that, Yusaku makes the comment of like, you can't hear the voices anymore, can you? And he didn't realize it until that exact moment where he's like, because the neuron link has stopped, because anyone left that he didn't knock out or whatever the hell happened to them, they have been logged out now. Right. And he's alone. So he's been talking of, everyone's going to exist inside me. The ideal world is me. And it turned out that everything Yusaku was saying was correct. No, you're the only one. You're alone, and that's what you are. And that's why you're angry just like I was. And now he has literally all the Ignis, and Yusaku said everyone make the sacrifices for him. And now, even though he's technically not hearing the voices like Bowman was, he has that feeling, that belief of everyone, that Bowman can no longer predict his moves anymore. And that's why I thought it was great. His shock of Yusaku getting a Link 5, that was awesome.
I don't say it too often. He was great in this episode.
His
character was great. He was really good. Yeah. Really good episode for Playmaker.
You nailed it when you said like he's probably gotten more development in this. And maybe not even just this episode, but this episode, maybe the past 3, then he has in like over 100 episodes. Episodes. So this was huge for him. And there was a lot this episode, a lot to touch upon. So sort of bounce off what Pete said about the exposition thing. I think there's a lot of important points that were made. One of Bowman's last lines to I think could carry some weight, hopefully in the third arc, and that was, I'm a big, fence sitter in a lot of predictions, but in this, instance where we stand right now, I'm kind of hoping that it's only I left, and they're the Ignis don't come back, because the last words of Bowman to I were something along the lines of,
I hope you don't regret it.
I hope you don't regret it.
Yeah.
So that could carry some serious weight, if I is the only one.
Regret and survivor's guilt are
exactly
horrible to deal
with. If that line were to go to waste for, just be like he was alone for 2 or 3 episodes, it wouldn't have been really that impactful. But if I has to carry that to the end of the show, or to, at least 10, 20 episodes, it would mean a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope that's the case, because I hope the ending foreshadowed that. So I hope it's not a 1 or 2 episode thing.
So I think that could carry some serious weight to it. As for the duel, I enjoyed it, actually. Like we had a lot of quick, huge turns, a lot of like big moments, a lot of damage being done at one time. I sort of like the slow burn ending. We didn't really get any slow burn duels this season, show at all until now, and it seemed like the way Bowman's been playing, it's sort of any single big move that Playmaker was going to make, he would have been able to predict. Except now it comes down to the slow burn, counter thing. He couldn't, and I think that was really interesting as he like dwindled down. Like Pete said, was forced to say, "I use a counter for this and that," and then and then it was over. I thought it was great. For everything, like across the board, was really enjoyable.
That's awesome. Yeah, I loved it. Now I
just want to say one thing that actually bouncing off your point there is that with Bowman at the end, throughout this arc, throughout this 4-episode duel, he's been saying no matter Playmaker what you do, like that I'm going to win this. There's a guarantee of it. So it's almost justice that he has to. It's not a one-turn thing. He had to watch as he knew it was over. He was trapped in a loop, and that it wasn't exactly as you predicted. Exactly. You were wrong. So it was almost justice that happened.
Yeah, it was like 15, maybe not 15, but like 10 minutes of him just like knowing. He knew like at minute 1 that he was going to lose, and he had to go through like 10 minutes of the battle knowing he was going to lose.
Yeah.
He said Playmaker, I think it was the last episode or 2 episodes ago, was his heart, which necessarily wasn't true. He might have been his rival, but at the end, as we see there, Haru was his heart.
Yeah. Good fight.
That was so well done.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't just forget about him.
Yeah. They'd referenced it quite a few times over the season. Like Haru was like the only person that he like had kept in mind this entire time. So I think it was really it was our justice for Haru.
It was. I think it was
justice for Haru.
And they gave him he stayed valiant till the end.
Yes, we've always appreciated.
He didn't play dirty. Well, he cheated. Well, but I mean, every character
we've always appreciated his sort of noble villain thing, and it's been really cool all the way to the end.
For him.
Yeah,
really,
and that's
good
why
arc.
like it balanced out where we always said like he would say something profound and earnest, and then he would say something backhanded, just like he said. I forget what he said before. He said, "I hope you don't regret it," but he said something sort of profound and earnest, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But then of course, he follows it up with, "I hope you don't regret it."
Yeah.
Well,
there's actually I just thought of another thing.
Yeah.
Is when Haru comes back there and he says, "Oh, you're here at the end," and that was his real heart. That is very similar to the exact thing that he let Akira do to Aoi when she was going. It's the same thing of that like AI ghost form that he gave that this is my moment of whatever he said.
Compassion.
Right? Because that's what he was robbed of.
Yeah.
And he even says that he was robbed of that.
Yeah.
So now he finally
got
gets
it in the end.
Yeah.
He got closure.
Great character. I thought he was a really good character.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people on Twitter call him Borman. I
thought it was great. I've always appreciated
early on,
him.
I would have said that.
Early on, I
not
agree,
in the last 30 plus.
Oh yeah, wipe his mind again. Great. Like, who is this guy? Why do we care?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he had a purpose and he tried to serve it.
Right.
And
he became something a lot bigger than I think any of us expected.
Yeah,
and I really like that.
Definitely. Well, that about wraps up our thoughts, right, on episode 102.
I do just want to say one thing. As you pointed out, maybe in the reaction, no Gilbo. The art direction of this episode was really great. It was really flashy, really, crisp. It looked fantastic.
He's great. He's amazing.
Just a really to see those Link 5 monsters go at each other. With his art direction. Phenomenal.
Yep, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
I will say one thing, if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that the one thing I was not a fan of in the episode there is I like the conversations between Flame and I and Aqua inside of Bowman, but to have their sacrifices where those scenes had so much weight, even Lightning's, and that they're semi-absorbed into Bowman and weren't completely until that moment because they were holding on to a last bit of their power. I don't know how much I love that. I think it would have been something if they were there but they couldn't talk or something, and then it was I trying to get them out and then realizing I can't do it, and maybe he has a conversation with Bowman. But their words are impactful, especially Flames, having Lightning have a final moment where he's still evil and stuff. But I don't know how much I love that because then all of a sudden we establish rules that now Aqua and Flame can overpower Lightning inside of Bowman, which was Lightning's creation. That gets a little convoluted. So I don't know how much of a fan I am of that.
Yeah, I guess from a power balancing standpoint, it's kind of weird. I mean, I liked it. I didn't really have an issue with that scene. The main issue that I had with that scene was the Earth. I mean, why was Earth there in his actual form? That's the problem I had. It just was so convoluted.
We'll never get an answer for that.
We probably won't.
That's going to be one of the question videos that you do at the end.
Top 10 unanswered questions of VRains. Yeah. That's going to be one of them. But hey, what are you going to do? So, if you have any theories on that, leave them down below and leave your thoughts on Season 2, expectations for Season 3. If you like this and you want more Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains talk, definitely check out every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the VRains. Nick will be on this week. Pete, unfortunately, is not able to make those, but I'm having Legendary Duels on, who makes my beautiful thumbnails, and Jarek Brewell, so that'll be a lot of fun. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Samuel Stark, Thomas Adderley, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Vincent Van Der Veen, Brian Ford, and Rexkentrix, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood and Garrett Palmer, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Chris Swan. Thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. Cannot tell you how much it helps me out. Huge thank you to everyone who just watches these videos as well. I will talk to you down below. Pete, Nick T, thank you both for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
And
no
stay
problem.
tuned for this Saturday where Jarek Brawl is going to teach us how to hit the woe on stream.
You're going to want to see that, guys.
He's really going to do that?
I hope so.
Oh, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day.
See you guys.
See you guys later.